Hey, Genderqueer chat. It's Friday with Jan, and apologies for skipping out on yesterday's video. I have been absolutely bombarded with work. For me, it's actually still technically Thursday because I've been up since yesterday morning, and I just got home. So. This week's topic is what is your relationship like with your parents? How do they feel about your gender variancy? Are they slave to the gender binary? Okay. So my relationship with my parents is very good, I would say. I still feel like we have things to work on, but I also have a very high standard for what our relationship has potential to be. Um, I've always, my parents have always talked to me openly and genuinely about, on all topics, and I also don't feel like I need to censor myself in any way around them. I kind of don't know how to censor myself. And I love to share stories too, so, at the same time, my parents also ask me questions on any topic, which can be good and bad, and has definitely been more awkward than anything else. I've been living with them for the past year and a half after not living with them for 4 years, so um, I'm still not sure if that if that was the best idea. And what tends to happen when you move back in with your parents after not living with them for a long time is that you end up feeling like an overgrown adult child, which is kind of how I feel, and I'm about ready to move out. Um, and so, yeah, my mom and I have a more complex relationship. My dad is a little more lighthearted and passive, and he kind of just cracks himself up, and is amused by most things. And I think we're actually really similar personality types. Like, we have a really similar sense of humor. And my parents are big nerd dorks too, so um, so my general process when talking to my parents about gender stuff is that I keep things in my head, and I kind of make sure that uh, I make sure that what I want to tell them is really accurate, because I don't like to worry them. And so I generally overanalyze things, and I overanalyze things, if you haven't noticed that I'm a bit of an overanalyzer. And and then I finally get myself together and build up the courage to talk to them. And I always talk to my mom. I talk to my mom, and as soon as she's okay with something, she talks to my dad for me. And so a really good example of this happened last week. When I got home, and I came to school, and the first thing that they asked me when I got to school was, okay, what do you want, what name do you want written on your diploma, and what name would you like us to announce at graduation? And these were questions that I was not expecting to get so early on. And so I told them that I'd get back to them within a week, and I knew that I had a week to talk to my parents about name change and all of that, which has been on my mind for at least a year. I've been kind of working up the courage to talk to them. And so I woke up one morning, and I was like, today is the morning, I'm feeling pretty good, and I talked to my mom about changing my full name to Jan and Alexa Kramsky, and her response was, yeah, that sounds great. I was so taken aback by her response. In my head, it's like, I cannot believe that I waited a year to tell you, like, playing your response over and over again, or what I assumed would be your response, and you're so okay with this. And then when she saw my dad, she was like, oh, so the new name is blah blah blah. Doesn't that sound great? And my dad was like, yeah, sure, sure. So that's generally how it goes. They're pretty okay with things, for the most part. And so talking to them about gender variancy and that type of stuff in the beginning when I was first, so I'm a letter writer. I wrote my parents, or I should say, I always write these to my mom. I wrote my mom a coming out letter when I was first coming out as a lesbian, and then I wrote them a letter when I was coming out as genderqueer or trans, and I really wanted to make sure that these are like long-winded letters. And then within that letter, I also wrote about, sorry, I had to catch the screen. I also wrote about being queer. I was like, remember the first letter? Well, I had to change my mind about the first letter, or I've evolved, whatever. And so in the beginning, we were more open to talking about things, and I also told my parents about wanting to take testosterone for medical reasons before I talked to them about being trans. So, my mom just told me that I need to like stop freaking myself out about talking to them, and we, for the month or two that followed, we were talking about things fairly openly, and then we had a period for about a year. There was just a lot of tension, a lot of elephants in the room, and we weren't really talking about things, and I started to feel like everyone was in this state of denial and they weren't really dealing with stuff. And I had asked my parents not to call me their daughter, but instead to call me their child, and so they were trying to do that, but like slipping up a lot. And so after I talked to my mom a few days ago, when we started talking about names, we talked about everything. And she mentioned that they weren't in denial, they were just really worried, and that this is hard for them too, but they're accepting of everything, and yeah, so it's been a lot better since we had that conversation, and I feel like I am actually enjoying my time around them again, and that might also have to do with knowing that I'm leaving in a few months. So they definitely went through their different stages of acceptance, and I think like my mom watches Oprah, and I think that for the general public, Oprah does a fairly good job bringing up trans stuff, even if it is like your generic trans narrative, whatever. Like, I know that my mom has recorded some of the shows. Anyway, okay, so what else is there? Are they slave to the gender binary? I wouldn't say they're slave to it. They definitely fulfilled, I would say, gender norms, sure. They don't play all gender roles necessarily. Yeah, I think, and my parents are also creative types, so they're kind of like slightly in their own head. As my mom says, we're all like in our different stages of personal evolution, and we're kind of like this. We kind of just like float around each other. So, okay, that's all I have on what is with my screen. There you go. My computer is so Jurassic, it's ridiculous. I'm like waiting for it to die on me. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I feel like I'm in a whirlwind with school stuff, and oh, I did get some good news today. This is probably close to a month ago, my classmate and friend and school brain twin applied to be keynote speakers at a conference, It's the California Higher Education Sustainability blah 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 conference, and we applied to be keynote speakers, and we found out today that we will be the closing keynote, which is really exciting and really terrifying at the same time. So the whole day I've just been like, when the hell are we going to put together a good presentation? And also, really quickly, I got, and hold on, I wanted to share this. I got an amazing comment on my personal channel, which I thought I would make public because it kind of just reminded me of the homophobia and transphobia and general ignorance, which is still very much present within society, but I was fairly amused. So, the comment was from Elias Pratt, and it went, "So, this is penis envy manifested. Get it? Man-ifested. ... Seriously though, you look like a fruitcake. Find God and stop being such a myrmidon," this is a new word for me, "to lowbrow endeavors, Yana. I thought you were supposed to be smart. Read the Bible. Good grief." Wow. So, fruitcake, yes. Penis envy, no. Yeah. So thank you, Elias Pratt, for reminding me that there are many things to be worked on, I would say. And everyone else, I'll see you next week, hopefully on Thursday.